Hello, good morning everyone. So we're going to start discussing lecture 3. Although this was already discussed in class, so this is for your review. We have the following. This is on double integrals and polar coordinates. And of course, its applications. If you remember, we already had discussed line integrals and double integrals in Cartesian coordinates for lecture 1 and lecture 2 respectively. Center of mass and moments of inertia is an optional topic. So at this point, lecture 3 is on double integrals in polar coordinates and its applications. There are other topics for the finals: triple integrals in Cartesian coordinates and its applications, cylindrical and spherical coordinates, as well as triple integrals in cylindrical coordinates and applications, and triple integral in spherical coordinates and applications. So if you remember the area of a circular sector, take a look at this. The area of a circular sector of radius r is given by the following, this one, which is supposed to be equal to this. Okay, that's equal to 1/2 of theta r squared. And this area of this circular sector bounded by this alpha to beta, where your theta is your radian measure of the central angle of the circular sector, and bounded also by r sub 1 and r sub 2, these circles, and these rays. No? Theta is alpha and theta is beta. And if we let delta be the partition of r obtained by drawing rays through the origin, so this one, these are the partitions, these are the deltas there, and concentric circles centered at this pole. This is the pole. Now, if we take a look again at figure 6, the area of the subregion delta sub I A bounded by this theta sub I minus 1, this one, and by theta equals theta sub I, this one, along with the circles r sub I minus 1. So if we consider this to be your r sub I minus 1, and this is, say, your r sub I. So this is just a certain portion or a subregion delta sub I A. This one. There are other subregions here, but if we consider this, then we have the area delta sub IA is now equal to, from the formula of the area of a circular sector, 1/2 of theta sub I, yes, this is theta sub I, minus theta sub I minus 1, is this, r sub I squared, times r sub I squared, minus 1/2 of, again, theta sub I, okay, theta sub I, minus theta sub I minus 1, r sub I minus 1 squared. So the first one is r sub I, this is your r sub I, then you square that, and this is your r sub I minus 1 squared. Rewriting that, that can be rewritten as 1/2 of theta sub I minus theta sub I minus 1, and it means to say you factor up your 1/2 and factor up your, these are the same, so you can factor that out. Theta sub I minus theta sub I minus 1. This is 2. You are left with r sub I squared minus r sub I minus 1. But again, we can rewrite that into 1/2 of, this can be factored. So r sub I squared minus r sub I squared, r sub I minus 1 squared. When you factor this is actually this one. Difference of two squares. And that difference, we have, this is difference of two squares, so we can have this as factors. Now, on the other hand, you can also rewrite your 1/2 times r sub I plus r sub I minus 1 as r sub I bar. And your r sub I minus r sub I minus 1 here can be rewritten as delta, or the change in r. So you have that. And at the same time, your this one can be rewritten as a change in theta. So delta sub I of theta. So from here again, remember that we are deriving the value for delta sub IA. You can make use of delta sub IA as r sub I bar, rewriting that. Then delta sub IR. So notice that they all become the change in R and then change in delta. That is your change of I, delta sub I of A. Take the point R sub I, theta sub I bar here. This is the I in the ith subregion of R, so that your theta sub I bar is between these two, delta theta sub I minus 1 and theta sub I, and the product of f of r sub I theta, r sub I bar, theta sub I bar with delta sub IA. If there are n such subregions, ito, itong mga subregions na to, okay, then we actually have the sum. It can take the sum of the subregions, summation. And if you make these subregions as small as possible, you actually come up with the following value now. Okay, so that value from there would now be, you make that delta as small as possible, meaning to say you make as many subregions as you can and take its summation. So you now have r of f of r theta dr d theta there. The double integral of, when you take that limit of that summation of f of r sub I, theta sub I, r sub I bar, delta sub I r, delta sub I theta. So this is now the formula for the double integrals in polar coordinates. Now, if R is the subregion bounded by, this time, phi sub 1 of theta and R is phi sub 2 of theta. Okay, so you have there your R. Notice that it's a function there, a function of theta. And your theta is alpha here, to theta equal to here, beta. Then we can write the double integral above as follows. So meaning to say, you remember that I told you before that you should have a function for the inside value of inside limits of integration if you have a double integral. Okay, and you should have a constant outside if in case you have function values for the limits of integration. So you have r from the formula, r of f of r theta dr d theta. Now another one would be, what happens if you have your theta is a function of r here? Your theta here is psi sub 2 and your theta is psi sub 1. So where r is constant this time. Again, the formula would now become, you consider your theta first, okay? And you would have psi sub 2r, it's the upper limit, and psi sub 1r, it's your lower limit. Okay? This one is the greater value than this. And your dr, for dr, remember you always have r of f of r theta. So your dr, for your r this time, the value changes. This is a constant from a to b. So we have the first example here. You are asked to Find or evaluate the region for the double integral of e of x squared y squared dA. Now, it's bounded by these circles, x squared plus y squared equal to 4 and x squared plus y squared equal to 16. You are asked to use your polar coordinates. So meaning to say, if you remember, your x there in terms of polar coordinates is r cosine theta and y is equal to r sine theta. And because of that, your x squared